Hey guys, welcome to Blaugrana United. Welcome to another video, and today it is time to talk about, in my opinion, who have been the best Barcelona 11 of all time, in my opinion. And this is gonna be based on who I think is like basically also my favorites, but also including who has given the best, the best performances, who has had the most continuity, and also it's gonna be involved not only on like stats and stuff, but more about the players that I have personally watched. So you're not gonna be seeing here like Laudrup, Koeman, Guardiola, players like that. They're not gonna be into consideration for this, but I will be leaving you a bench, you could say, of players that I've left out, but that I could have easily put into this list. But without further ado, let's get started. We have Marc-André Ter Stegen in net. Ter Stegen already has been, for me, the best Barcelona goalkeeper for the years that he has. Like, it's been absolutely unbelievable, the performances that he's been given. Like I saw Victor Valdés, I saw Claudio Bravo, all two very good goalkeepers. We also had, I remember like I've watched a little bit of Zubizarreta, although I'm not considering him. But if I have to say, Ter Stegen has been the best. He's been absolutely unbelievable. He could be in the line to be, if he continues in this trajectory, he could be considered in like 5 years the best goalkeeper of all time. Like he's going to that direction because he's pulling some amazing saves time after time. Like some of these seasons, like the past seasons, we owe a lot of the points that we've achieved in the leagues thanks to Ter Stegen, because his performances have been absolutely world class. Then we have, as a right back, Daniel Alves. For me, not only the best right back that Barcelona have ever had, but also the best right back of all time. He's been superlative. His link up in the first season with Messi was unbelievable. Like, that is the example of what a winger and a fullback should be in a Barcelona system. Like, contributing between the two of them. That's why I say, if Dembele and Semedo can get up to those positions very easily, and we can shift Messi maybe into the middle, then we could probably use the wings, and that could cause a lot of damage. Not saying that Dembele and Semedo have the level of Dani Alves and Messi, but that they could assume similar roles to one of those two players. I think Dani Alves had a lot of technique. Like, he was clearly a winger compared to right back. Like, he was unbelievable. His technique, just like Marcelo's, is he's able to dribble past players. Like, having a fullback that's able to do that is unbelievable. His free kicks were pretty good. His collective passing play, he was never the best defensively, but his work rate was always very good, in the sense that he came back and helped in defense, sometimes with more accuracy than others, but always giving 100%. A really good professional at Barcelona, and it's just a shame that the way that he left the club, and definitely would like to see him come back to the club once more. You have Carles Puyol and Gerard Piqué at center backs. I'm going to talk to them together, but also separately, saying that Piqué has had a fantastic performance at Barcelona for the past decade. He's been here since 2009. He was at Barcelona previously, and he decided to go from Manchester United when we had the Gaspard era, when things weren't going that well for us. But he came back to Barcelona. Pep brought him back for 5 million euros, and it has to be one of the best investments that we've ever done. I was going to put another center back here, but because of the years that Piqué has been at Barcelona, the leader that he's been, I criticize him a lot for other things, but as a footballer, he's been immaculate. He was absolutely fantastic for Barcelona in all the treble seasons, in all the seasons where we've won good things. He's been at the center of it, and it's just fantastic to see. And for Carles Puyol, what can I say? For me, the best center back ever in history. Like you have your Maldinis, you have Cannavaros, you have like whoever you want to name. For me, Puyol has been the best of all time. At least marking wise, he's been absolutely ridiculous. Like, when you compare a center back, like when you say what are the qualities that every center back should have, I say look at Carles Puyol, because not only had like technique wise he wasn't the most the best to look at, although he wasn't bad, he was a pretty good passer and pretty decent passer, but he's marking, he's tackling, but most importantly his leadership and tenacity is what makes him for me the best center back of all time, because his attitude in pitch was absolutely unbelievable. And if we had a player like that right now, it would be great, because it would put a lot of those players that we have right now in check and tell them hey, react because we're playing a game. Give maximum level of intensity, and that's what Carles Puyol is for me. At left back we have Jordi Alba. I was very close with Erika Vidal, but just the pure connection that Jordi Alba has with Messi, and that the speed that he's been able to give to this team when in times where we have lacked it, especially these past couple of seasons where we haven't had Neymar, when we don't have a reference down left wing, because Dembele or Coutinho or Griezmann haven't been able to adapt to that position properly. Jordi Alba is the one giving us depth in that position, and he's been protagonizing with really great assists, always been a threat. If you're an opposition team, cover Jordi Alba's run because he will destroy you. It will cause a lot of damage, and he's done it time and time again. That connection between Jordi Alba and Messi, everyone knows that it exists. Everyone knows that's going to happen. There's just no way of stopping it, and it has worked for us so many times. He's been improving defensively a lot. His pace helps him to come back and help in defense a lot. His experience has been really good in the past couple of years, and one or two mistakes that he makes in a season cannot define a player's trajectory. He was the best left back for me of all last season, and he will continue being, because his performances were the best. Not matter if he made a mistake in one or two crucial moments of the season, his whole season was absolutely immaculate. Then you have Sergio Busquets. Sergio Busquets at his best level is for me the best defensive-minded midfielder of all time, because in comparison to other players like Conte, like Makelele, like Gattuso, they're all players that defended more with their physical. There are players that depend a lot more on the physical. Busquets has never depended on his physical. Not that the physical is not important, because as we've seen right now, if you don't have the minimal level of physical fitness to go about the game, you're not going to be able to move properly, even if your head is working at a proper speed. But that's the thing, Busquets is the Messi of defensive midfielders. He's so much more ahead of everyone else just because he's able to see the game in a way that no one else can. Because Busquets is able to read the game. He's able to know where the danger is going to be a few passes before it gets there, so he's able to anticipate and cut. And if he's not able to do that, he's the person to drop back and start to replicate into our own half. So it makes him the perfect defensive midfielder. If we can get that version of Busquets, or at least something close to it, with Frenkie de Jong and Artur, this current Barcelona midfield wouldn't be having as many issues as it's having right now. Then you have Xavi, the best organizational midfielder I've ever seen in my life, and especially said organizational midfielder. His distribution, his way of dictating the tempo of the game, it's like no other. Xavi, other than a great passer and assister, was the leader in controlling the tempo. And you've noticed every time that we lose Xavi, that Messi, not for some reason, for obvious reasons, Messi had to, he's been having to drop back into Xavi's position and start dictating tempo, because we don't have a player like that, or we haven't had a player like that. Now we have players like Arthur and De Jong, and hopefully that's going to be able to allow Messi to stay a lot more forward and be more effective in that role that he is, scoring goals and generating a lot of danger in that final third. But Xavi was absolutely unbelievable. His link-up play was sensational. You literally could not take the ball away from him. I have very, very vague memories of whenever Xavi had the ball taken away from him, because he was absolutely sensational. A leader, a great captain, and one of the best midfielders of all time for sure. Then we have next to him Andrés Iniesta, the best, one of the best centre midfielders of all time. He Not like Xavi. I don't think he was the level of Xavi. What Xavi was another thing, but Iniesta in his own way was really good. He was a player more able to dribble, go past players, to dazzle around. Like his croqueta has been his signature move for so many years. He's always a player that I wish he had a little bit more goal in him. Like because he scored a few like really important goals, like the Iniestazo in Stamford Bridge, like that goal in the Bernabeu against Real Madrid in the 4-0. He scored very important goals and really nice goals in very decisive moments. But I feel Iniesta could have been more if he was just more of a bit of a goal scorer. Like if he was more like a Kevin De Bruyne, where yes, he puts passes really well, and because Iniesta has some amazing dribbling ability and able to move the ball and connect with the forwards, that if he just had that edge of like a really good shot on him, it would have been, I think, a lot more useful for us. But more than that, Iniesta was absolutely sensational. It was a shame to see him go. I hope he goes back to do anything, like just as Xavi, just as Busquets at some point. All these players, I would like them to come back to Barcelona and be part of the club at any point, like director of football, coach, whatever, president, whatever. Because these are players that know the house, that know how to run the club. Then you have in the left wing Ronaldinho, one of the best, more talented players that I've seen. He's probably the player that I enjoy most watching particular moments of matches. Like, because different to Messi. Messi is the best dribbler of all time, but Ronaldinho is the most funniest dribbler of all time. Like, he's the funniest dribbler because he just, did the tricks, and did tricks that in points helped. Like, not like the tricks that you sometimes see with Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, or whatever player, like sometimes Ousmane Dembélé, that they do. They try to do like very, very fancy flicks and tricks that actually don't do anything because they don't get past the defender. But Ronaldinho was able to, use those in an effective way to go past players and generate so much danger. And he was unbelievable. Like his first couple of seasons where he even was pressing, like Ronaldinho even pressing high up the pitch with some amazing goals. Like it was just absolutely ridiculous. Ronaldinho definitely one of the best forwards I've seen, and we could have used him more if he would have stayed more fit and more professional. He didn't decide to. It's a shame because I think football was robbed of so many great years that Ronaldinho could have still had in the tank if he'd so much decided to. As the number 9, I've chosen Luis Suarez, and I've left so many players for this position, like Samuel Eto'o, Ronaldo, but I have to say that the years that Suarez has given, it has been the best. Like, it's been absolutely ridiculous. Like, Suarez for me is the second best player that I've seen, and when I tell you this, I'm not including Ronaldo Nazario, I'm not including other players before me, but in comparison, for example, to Cristiano Ronaldo, I think Suarez he hasn't had a better career than Cristiano Ronaldo, but he's been a better player than Cristiano Ronaldo at least for the past 5 to 7 years. He's been a better player, and I'll probably explain that in another video. But just to make it very short, Suarez, other than a finisher, because his role at Barcelona hasn't been of a finisher, that's been Messi. Like, the player that gets the most chances is always Messi for obvious reasons. But Suarez, other than being a really good goal scorer, has been a really good creator. His connection with his link-up play has been unbelievable. His dribbling is very effective. His body feints, like his way of pressing, his intensity inside the pitch. He's just a fighter inside the pitch, and it's always been great to see Suarez be the best version of his own. And that's what I mean. If we could have more of Luis Suarez, I wouldn't be complaining about anything. But because he doesn't look the same, therefore he has to be criticized. But without a shadow of a doubt, Suarez has been unbelievable for Barcelona, and I just can't compare him to anyone else at the moment. And last and least, you have Lionel Andres Messi. As the last player of this list, of this 11, you have Messi, the best player of all time, the best player that would ever be, at least I think in my lifetime, because I heavily doubt that I'm going to see a better player than Lionel Messi. If I do see it, please let him be at Barcelona for some reason. Please let him be in La Masia right now at some point. But like, I heavily doubt it because Messi is like, what can I say? What can I say that I already haven't said about him? He's unbelievable. He's like the perfect attacking player because, and this is why he's the best player of all time. He's better than Cristiano. He's better than Ronaldo. He's better than anyone. He's better than Maradona, Pelé. Why? Because he is a winger, a center forward, a striker, a attacking midfielder. He's a center midfielder. He's everything. In attack, he does everything. He creates, he scores, he assists, he generates play, he dictates the tempo. He's the only player that you could say that playing in one position does pretty much all the roles that you could do in the forward line. Why do I say that? Because we've seen Messi do the winger part at his early stages of Barcelona, then shifted into a false nine. Sometimes had to play as a striker. He's had to do the midfield work that Xavi and Iniesta left. Because the truth is that when Xavi left, Messi came down in midfield and do the creation also as scoring the goals. That's when maybe you saw some of his scoring shots be a little bit worse than in some other years because he's had to drop a lot more into midfield. And even there, they don't show those stats. I never see those stats, but I know that's happened. So that's why Lionel Messi is the best player. But not only that, he's dribbling. He has the best dribbling. Like Pelé, I think said once, maybe a year ago, that Messi can be the best player because he can only shoot with one foot, can score headers, and only has one kind of dribbling. Well, like I've said before, doing flicks and tricks is not effective dribbling. Messi has the best way of effective dribbling because he's the only player that's able to take about 3 to 5 players, like about 5 to 10 times per game, consistently every game. So that makes him the best dribbler, and because he's the most determinant player of all time, that also makes him the best player of all time. We done said and done. Who you think has been the best players in this of Barcelona that you've seen? I'm also gonna leave very shortly players that I've left out that I could have put in. David Villa, obviously, basically what Griezmann should be is David Villa. Samuel Eto'o, really great in that treble season. Deco, Ronaldo. If Ronaldo was at Barcelona for at least 3 seasons instead of the 1 season he was at Barcelona, maybe I would say that he's the best striker ever at Barcelona because he was that talent-wise and performance-wise, he was way better than any other striker I've ever seen. But just the performance that he's given to the club, I have to say Suarez, without a shadow of a doubt, has given a lot more than anyone else. You also have Rafa Marquez at center back, Eric Vidal at full back, Vitor Valdez was really good at goalkeeper position. In midfield, like I said, Deco, Mascherano, obviously, Yaya Touré. I enjoy a lot watching Yaya Touré. Pedro, Neymar, obviously, really great players. But with that said and done, leave me all your opinions about the players, about the 11 that you would do of all time for Barcelona. Leave me all your opinions in the comment section below. Comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, Blaugranas.